the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey everybody, what's going on? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, the Black Business School, and I would like to say hello to you. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. So if you're not Black and intelligent, you probably want to leave and get out of here because this is not the place for you. Now, you guys know that that every week we typically do Powernomics Thursday, but actually this week we're doing Powernomics Tuesday. And that is the time where we get an opportunity to speak with a living legend, a person that is one of the most significant human beings in all of not just Black history, but all of history, period. Dr. Claud Anderson. Dr. Anderson is the author of the books, Powernomics, Black Labor, White Wealth, The Black History Reader, and Dirty Little Secrets 1 and 2. And as you guys come into the chat, I'd like to ask Dr. Anderson, how you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing much better than I've been doing now for about the last 4 or 5 months, Dr. Watkins. I feel much better, a little stronger. Looks like I might be able to survive my past affliction and stay away from this new one that got called what's it called? Coronavirus.
Yeah.
I don't want to be.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm trying to duck everything that's bad, and it's hard if you're Black because typically you're going to get your overload of everything that's bad in the society, and that's what I talk about all the time. That's because of the social construct that we live in. Everything bad is going to come to Black folk, but it can come to Black folk 5 or 6 times greater than it will to whites. And so we'll talk about that though later on today.
All right. Well, you know what? Well, I'm glad you're okay, and I know you're a tough guy, and I know you're going to make it through whatever they throw at you. And everybody that comes in, shout out your city. Let us know what city you're from. Put your hashtag B1 in the chat. B1 means that you're Black first. If you are Black first and you agree with this philosophy, put hashtag B1 in the chat. And we're going to begin this conversation now because I think this is one where everybody needs to hear from somebody that really understands how to put our experiences in historical context. And so I'm going to start with the big elephant in the room. Dr. Anderson, so everybody on my timeline has been talking about this whole situation with this kid, Ahmaud Arbery, who was shot down in cold blood down in Georgia in this situation where there was an accusation that he was breaking into houses. They suspected that he was a burglar. And there was and then also it got even more controversial because there was a video of him walking in and out of an abandoned house, and this was a neighborhood that he didn't live in, you know. So he walked in the house, looked around, and then he walked out. And then I guess people saw him walking out of the house. He took off down the street. So a couple of white guys, father son, got in their trucks, and they chased him down the street. And when they caught up with him, they said, you know, stop, freeze. And he didn't stop. And I guess they got into a scuffle, and Ahmaud ended up being shot and killed. So this has become a huge racial issue. A lot of liberals, you know, and Black folks have felt that this was almost like a lynching, that this was a Black man just being killed just for, you know, being in a white neighborhood. But then there are conservatives who have said, no, this man, they thought he was a burglar. They saw him walking in and out of this house. He wasn't just jogging through the neighborhood. They felt like he was there for a reason. But most people, it seems, don't feel he deserved to die. But, you know, Dr. Anderson, I'm gonna tell you what I was thinking when I saw it, and I'd like for you to feel free to say what you want, but I'd love for you to also put it in historical context. You know, what really was interesting to me was I can understand anybody defending the neighborhood. That's just something I believe in. But there's nothing in Georgia citizens arrest laws that say you should be chasing people down the street with guns, you know. And I think that's the part that got to me. It almost made me think about almost like slave catchers. Like, I don't know if these 2 white guys might have felt the same about chasing another white man down the street with guns, or I don't know how we would react if 2 Black men chased a white guy down the street with guns. What are your thoughts on just all of that? Like, what goes through your mind when you hear just everything I just laid out for you?
You laid out pretty well, buddy, as usual.
I do my best.
you recited the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution, which says the Second Amendment of the Constitution says it was relating to gun control and gun requirements. That goes back to slavery. But nobody ever connects the dots between the Second Amendment and the Constitution and Black folk being shot. That is historical. And what the Constitution did, it authorized, not only did it authorize, it demanded that every white person between the ages of 18, every white male between the ages of 18 and 45 be armed, A-R-M-E-D, be armed at all times to be able to accost, approach, check, monitor any Black person they caught on the street or off the street at any particular time, 24 hours a day. That is in the Constitution. And everybody always talk about more gun control, and they ignore that fact. And that's why all those young men and his father was chasing that Black man, because you have approximately about, excuse me, you got about approximately maybe 370 million firearms in the United States on the streets, 360 or 70 million guns out there. And guess what? 99.something% of them all owned by whites, because the whites were required by the law in the 13th and the Second Constitution to be able that everybody between 18 and 45 had to join a militia, a white militia, to be able to watch out for what reason? To protect white persons and protect white property. Whites owned all the property, and they were scared of Black people rising up, and so they called them patty rollers. They had to walk the streets on a regular basis, and they joined the militias to make sure they saw any Black, to stop him at any time and ask him for proper credentials. Why is he on the street? Why is he on the road? Where is he going? What is he up to? Why aren't you on the plantation? Why aren't you out there picking cotton? And that's where all that comes from. And that's been on the records now for 370-something years, going on 400 years. And nobody talks about gun, when they talk about gun control, they miss the fact that all the weapons are owned basically by whites. And then most of the incidents and shootings occur by white males in that age range of 18 to 45, shooting Blacks. And they ignore the fact that nobody is shooting whites. Nobody, you just asked about whites. Nobody's shooting into whites. You've not heard about anybody that's shooting whites down. You haven't heard about anybody shooting down white women. You haven't heard about anybody shooting down Jews. You haven't heard anybody shooting down Arabs. You haven't heard anybody shooting down American Indians. You haven't heard anybody shooting down Hispanics. They only do it to Black folk because of the Constitution stipulates that they're authorized to be able to carry the weapons and to be able to use it anytime they think they want to. And they got a new justification which says that you don't have to wait to actually find a Black guilty of something, is that if you see him, you can shoot him on that basis, be quiet, because you feel offended by his skin color. You feel threatened by his skin color. And therefore you got a legitimate ground to stand your ground and shoot and kill him. And that's been going on for the longest. And Black folk had never pushed back, one, because they don't have any leadership. They have no leadership organizations in America. They don't have not one Black organization in America that pushes it back against this stuff. What they got is a front, a fake out called NAACP and Urban League. Those are the two most useless organizations in the history of the world. All they do is front, pretend that somehow they're gonna look out for Black folk. We got to look out for everybody. We got to look out for gays, midgets, humpback, one-eyed, peg leg, anybody. And because they are subsidized by white corporations, and they haven't got the backbone or the gall or the fortitude to stick up for Black folk. And worse than that, you have no Black leadership in America. I cannot think of maybe one or two exceptions of any Black person in America right now that stands up strictly and solely for Black folk. I guess with the exception of myself, and see, I'm just about dumb enough to keep doing it myself, to look out for them. Nobody sticks up for Black folk. Now, what they're gonna do is they're gonna say, now, once we shoot down this Black, just like every 4 or 5 months, we're gonna shoot down a Black. We know what those Black folk are gonna do. All they're gonna do is have a march. They're gonna call some visible Black. And the visible Black means those Blacks who are in that, in the Black overclass. We'll call 1 or 2 of those to come out. And what they'll do, they'll talk about how bad it is, not that you just shot a Black man, but that you shot a minority or a poor person or a person of color or a diversity person. And therefore we need to have a march. And you see, if white folk know that routine down pat. It's been going on now for 300, almost 400 years. Have a march. And a march has never, 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 never accomplished a damn thing for black folk. That's not what, and see, they go back to the stuff of the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King's thing somehow, because they've been misled and faked out, believing that somehow if they march, that's gonna bring change. Ain't never brought about any change. Only the change came about was when black folk hit the street and started saying, we're gonna burn and do this and that. We're gonna practice quid pro quo. If you hit me, we're gonna hit you back. You send me to the hospital, I'm gonna send you to the morgue. See, that's what they're scared of. But see, they can't practice that because black folk don't produce any weapons. They don't manufacture any weapons. They don't manufacture any bullets. They don't have any gun ranges. They don't have any gun shops. They're totally unable to protect themselves. And that goes back to the original intent of that 13th Amendment. I mean, that Second Amendment in the Constitution, which says keep them powerless, keep them unarmed. That's why it started in about 1643, they passed laws saying that no black person can walk around with a weapon. You can't carry weapons, no tools, no mirrors, no knife, no hatchets, no axe, nothing. You have to be totally, totally disarmed so that when we attack you or grab you or stop you or start shooting at you, you cannot respond appropriately. That's why that young man got killed, because nobody's questioning what's going on. They have no leadership organizations. Blacks are not armed, they cannot be armed, cannot prepare to defend themselves. And that's why white folk had a basic philosophy. In conclusion, to answer your question, whites understand that that black folk are powerless people, they're weak people, but more importantly, he says that they are harmless and they never take up arms to do anything against whites. In response to what whites do to them, they are the most patriotic people in the country, would never take up arms. All they do is take a licking and keep on ticking. That's it.
Everybody who's watching, I'm speaking with Dr. Claud Anderson. Dr. Anderson is the author of the books Powernomics, Black Labor, White Wealth, The Black History Reader, Dirty Little Secrets 1 and 2. I want to say hello to everybody on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. If you want to see Dr. Anderson on screen, just go to drboycetv.com right now, drboycetv.com, and you can watch both of us on screen and join the chat if that's something that you want to do. Also, please hit the thumbs up button on your way in. Please hit the thumbs up button. I also want to make sure I mention iwantamask.com. iwantamask.com. They came through and made a donation in the chat. Thank you. So if you go to iwantamask.com to get a mask that you can wear to protect yourself from COVID, go to iwantamask.com and use the code Dr. Boyce, and you'll get 30% off. So put in Dr. Boyce. And I don't know these folks, but they keep coming in the chat and they make the donation, and it's a nice donation. And so I'm very happy to send them as much business as possible, because y'all know y'all need masks anyway. So go to iwantamask.com, use the code Dr. Boyce. One word, not two words, one word, you get 30% off. So there we go. So very, very smart black people. They just did business with me and ain't even met me yet. So I love it. I love it. You help me, I help you. So Dr. Anderson, let me dig in and ask you this question. So you know, I like the fact that you gave that clarity on the whole Ahmaud Arbery situation, because a lot of people don't know their history. You know, they don't understand that, you know, how linked Second Amendment rights are to controlling black people. And also this whole idea. I mean, the first thing that they did when he got killed was they didn't arrange a march this time. They arranged a run. They said, we're going to all jog 2.23 miles to salute him and in honor of him. And I had a friend, Jason Black, he calls himself the Black Authority. And he said, unless y'all all run into the house of the people that killed him, then this is a complete waste of time. So if you run into their house to go get them, then that makes sense. But if you just jogging in place, then who cares? That means nothing. And I agree. I don't participate in any of those marches, none of that stuff. And so I think that, you know, just in terms of the politics of it all, I think that people are having a hard time knowing the difference between flash and substance, you know. So I'll give you an example. Michelle Obama right now everybody's talking a lot about Michelle Obama because she has this new documentary out on Netflix. It's called Becoming. And in the documentary, she doesn't really say much in terms of really, you know, empowered political statements on behalf of Black people. She kind of just tells her story, and she goes to a lot of, you know, these different arenas, and she's talking to like young girls and just talking about kind of fluffy issues for the most part. And here's the thing. Here's what's interesting though. I saw that, Michelle, there was a big singing battle between two entertainers, two singers, Erykah Badu and Jill Scott, on Instagram, and everybody went to go watch it because, you know, Black folks love entertainment. And about 700,000 people were watching. Michelle Obama shows up and makes her presence known. Now, on Ahmaud Arbery and that killing of the Black man, I have not seen Michelle Obama say anything really about that, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she did say something, but it seems to me that you have a lot of the leadership that doesn't really want to tackle the tough issues. They don't want to tackle anything that's controversial or anything that's substantive or relevant, you know, in terms of strengthening the Black community or supporting real support for the Black community. Can you kind of speak to that a little bit in terms of why the leadership tends to go missing when the community needs them the most?
Well, that fits in fine with what the white folks' perceptions of Black folk. As I said to you earlier, they hate you and despise you for a very specific reason. And Black, it's no accident. It's no accident that you're the most hated, despised people in this country and on the earth. Black folk have not understood that yet. It's hard to get through their skull that nobody gives a damn about Black folk. They see you as a weak people, period. That's why you're carrying 6 to 8 times your fair share of everything is bad, and 6 to 8 times everything's bad that comes down the road is gonna stop at your front door, at a Black person's front door. Not at a white person's front door, it's your door, because you're weak and you're hated and you're despised. You have no friends and no in this country. You never have had any major friends. You had 1 or 2 whites in the society from the history you're making in this country to where you are now that took up for Black folk. One was John Brown as an example. Nobody ever takes up for Black folk. Started talking about what Martin Luther King, if Martin Luther King was so great, where are the white Martin Luther Kings? Where are the Indian Martin Luther Kings? Where are the Arab Martin Luther Kings in this country? Where are the Hispanic Martin Luther Kings in this country? Why is it you only have one Black man who was Martin Luther King that stood up and all about, everybody talks about what a great man he was. If he was so damn great, where are the whites great? Where are they hiding? They're behind the bushes? No, they ain't doing anything. Nobody cares about Black folk. And white folk, as I said a few seconds ago, see you as being very weak, spineless people. And see, because you don't have a code of conduct, you don't stand up. That's why Michelle Obama is not gonna stand up for Black folk. Her husband didn't stand up for Black folk. He didn't abide by a code of conduct. A code of conduct white folk would respect. It says, if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. You mistreat me, I'm gonna mistreat you back. You hate me, I'm gonna hate you back. See, Black folk always looking for love in the wrong places. They always wanna love people and try to get along. That's why Michelle Obama would go out and talk about issues on some kind of documentary talking about women. Women are not the issue. Gender is not the issue. Trying to compare a gender with race is like trying to compare a headache with cancer. There's a difference. Yes, women might have their little minor problems because of gender, but that has nothing to do with racism. But all these Black people, so be leaders, whether in the White House or with the White House, they don't do a damn thing to help Black folk because they have no backbone. And white folks say, you got no code of conduct, we don't respect you. We respect Indians who we came in and dominated and took the land from because they stood up. Indians would at least fight back. We tried to enslave a few Indians initially we came into the country. Indians said, we ain't gonna take that. We'll fight back. You take our people and kidnap them, try to enslave them, we'll come get them at night. Nobody ever came to this country to get Black folk. After 360 years of being enslaved, not one ship left Africa coming to America to get Black folk back. And even when slavery ended, you had 5 million Black folks still enslaved. And not one ship came from Africa to get them back. Nobody stood up and tried to fight for Black folk. And that's why, as I said, my mission on this earth is to stick up for the most hated, despised people on earth. The group that every gender, every ethnicity, every race, everybody has hated and mistreated and urinated on. Everybody's mistreated Black folk. And you got all these profiling Blacks with visibility always gonna come out and pick some generic issue. We got to look out for minorities. Have you ever heard one of them? You tell me right now, and I'm quitting now. You tell me one instance where you heard a visible Black in America come out and says, when they start talking about minorities, you say, what about the original minority? Up until the end of slavery, you only had one minority. You only had one minority, Dr. Watkins. That was black people. Indians got out of the bag of being a minority. They were christened to be whites. They were accepted to being whites by the last in the 1800s. The only minority you had was black people, period. They are the original minority. So when you use the word minority, you all should be, these blacks in your audience, should be, right, I want them to take note of this. And so they can call in on any radio station, TV station. Look, whenever you use that word minority, do not include black folk unless you put an adjective in front of it, saying the original minority. If you're going to do something for minorities, you do it first for the original minority in the order of priority and history. Original minority. And don't put black folk in this thing of people of color. You had Obama sit up in the White House now with Attorney General Holder, and they talk about people of color. And when the Attorney General back in 1862, when they started giving up free land to everybody, and blacks was going to be getting some land, guess what? The Attorney General, like the one that said, white Attorney General said, black people do not qualify to be classified as people of color. That's the Attorney General. Now, Michelle Obama, why didn't Eric Holder with her husband say, now that he's the Attorney General, why didn't he come out and say black folk are entitled to reparations? Black folk are entitled to affirmative action. Black folk are entitled to set-asides. They ought to be a unique minority that must be rectified. This is the year of reckoning on accountability in this country for race matters. This is the year of a reckoning. If black folk don't come out now and say, hey, nobody's to be compared to black folk, there is no, listen now, Dr. Watkins, there is absolutely no constitutional ground for anybody to be subordinating blacks to gender, to ethnicity, to immigration, to being bullied, to women, to gays, or anybody else. Those groups have no constitutional grounds to be equated, to be made equal to black folk, to be made equal, or worst of all, to get ahead of black folk. Black folks stand alone. They're the only group, only original minority in this country that has a constitutional ground to being honored, respected, and appreciated. But what the whites have been doing all these years is humiliating them and shooting them and killing them down because they have no leadership and no leadership organization, and there's no connection between putting a black person in office and black folk getting benefit and recognition, respect, and appreciation for their history in this country. They won't do it. I don't give a damn you're the wife or the ex-president. Nobody stands up for black folk. I stand up for them because I love them and I appreciate them, and I'm never gonna let anybody disrespect black folk in my presence or in my absence, either one, if I can help it.
All right, everybody, I'm speaking with Dr. Claud Anderson. Dr. Claud Anderson is the author of the books Powernomics, Black Labor, White Wealth, the Black History Reader, and Dirty Little Secrets 1 and 2. Also, I want to make sure I say thank you to, it looks like Michae, M-I-C-H-A-E, and Kathy Dean. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate that. I didn't mention it at the time because I didn't want to interrupt Dr. Anderson while he was speaking. And if you want to support the platform, you can do so at intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. And also, if you want to check out Dr. Claud Anderson's books, somebody type this in the chat. It's powernomics.com. That's powernomics.com. He has a whole library pack with all 5 books and the DVD for just $99. I highly recommend it. Everybody should have it in their household. That is the economic Bible for Black people. Buy his books before you buy my books because I really, really want your family to be exposed to Powernomics concepts so you can understand how to make your own intelligent choices about what it is you want in life. We are not here to tell you what to do. We are here to inform you so that you can tell yourself what to do. I'm here to teach you how to fish. I'm not here to pull fish out and hand them to you. So Dr. Anderson, let me just say this. You know, when I see, I watched Michelle Obama's documentary, and I'm real happy for her. She's making a lot of money. She's a real smart lady, real classy lady. And as some people have claimed in the chat, I noticed that she did say something about the young man that got killed down south. I checked up and down her Twitter feed while we were talking. I mean, I went down very, very carefully, and I was noticing the themes of what she was discussing. I saw nothing about that, nothing at all. I saw things that were related to, girls in education. A little girl would tell a story and say, they told me I could never get into Princeton like you, but I got in, and Michelle would say, congratulations, things like that. And I get that, right? I respect that. I think all that's great. I have little girls in my house that I empower. We believe deeply in education. My wife is a college professor, so we get all of that. I think that what is missing though is the willingness to get down and dirty with your people. I think that what happens is a lot of times you get politicians that I think are either politicians or public figures and who really don't want to do the hard work required to truly be Black. Like they say when they say everybody want to be Black. Y'all heard this before? Give me a yes or no in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Where they say everybody want to be Black except for when it's time to be Black. And they usually say that when they're talking about what they call the culture vultures, or the people that appropriate Black culture. The Kim Kardashian type people. I don't know if you've seen much of the Kardashians, Dr. Anderson, but this is a whole family of women with big fake bubble lips and big fake booties, and they wear Black women's hairstyles, and they steal everything that makes Black women beautiful, and they go make $100 million of $500 million from it. Well, the thing is that cultural appropriation doesn't just happen with white people. White people are not the only ones who culturally appropriate and steal Black culture and use it for their own gain and give nothing back. Black people do this probably as well as white people. Rappers do this. Rappers steal Black culture and rap about it and put it in their video, put it in their music, put it in their songs, and they make a bunch of money and then go move out in the suburbs. Politicians like a Michelle Obama will tell her Black story, say, look at me, I got Black skin, I'm a Black woman, look at my Black family, let me tell you about my Black daddy. But when it really comes, and then she'll go make $100 million from a Netflix deal. But then when it comes time to really do the dirty work of being Black, I'm talking about really, being connected to the struggles that Black people go through, the messy stuff, the dirty stuff, the stuff that's going to get you banned, the stuff that's going to get white folks to not want to work with you anymore. They back away from that, and then I compare it, what I compare it to, Dr. Anderson? I compare it to, like, tell me if y'all know what I'm talking about. You ever have like a relative that grew up in a Black neighborhood and then they got a nice job and they moved out to the suburbs, and maybe they come back to grandma's house once a week, for Sunday dinner, but they stay away from the Black neighborhood. They really don't want to be down there like that, or they don't really want to touch the cousins and be around, just be around the situations, the tough situations that come with being Black or being poor. I compare it to that, because to me, when to me, your measure of your Blackness, whatever that is, I'm not a authority on this, but to me, the measure of Blackness is, are you really willing to get your hands dirty? Like, are you really willing to say things that are going to make, 100 million people get mad at you for a minute? Are you willing to lose a $50 million endorsement deal with Kodak or whatever, or some company, or Coca-Cola, because they don't want to be associated with controversy? That to me is, I think, the benchmark that we got to use when it comes to sort of measuring who's really elevating the community versus who's elevating themselves off the community. Because when you got all these folks that are elevating themselves off the back of the Black community, you have two things happening. They're doing better and the community's doing worse. And everybody's kind of sucking the life out of the Black community. They're sucking all the money out. They're sucking all the resources out. They're sucking all the culture out, and they're filling themselves up. And then the community is depleted. And it's just the same way rich people in America have gutted the US government. When they got them to drop the taxes and stop taxing the rich and all this other stuff back during the Reagan years, I'm talking about, Dr. Anderson. All the rich people, they started sucking out the, just resources out of the government. These people claim to be patriots, right? But they don't want to pay no taxes, but they want to get all the government benefits, all the corporate welfare, everything, sucking, all the resources out. And then the government's sitting there under so much debt that eventually the government's going to go bankrupt. The Black community is kind of like that, giving everything to everybody and getting nothing back in return. And I just think it's time to implement a Black tax. I really think it's time to implement a Black tax and make sure people are actually paying that by challenging celebrities to say, what investments are you making? I'd like to get your take on this, because I think that you are right in the middle of this, because you run a think tank. To me, with your commitment to the Black community, your think tank should have an annual budget of at least $20 million a year. And it should be because the celebrities and the community are supporting the think tank. But you and I, we talked about this. The Harvest Institute and Powernomics Corporation do not get the support that they deserve because everybody wants to say, talk about how great Dr. Anderson is and how great Powernomics is. And they want to come see you and talk to you and say, oh, I love what you're doing. But when it comes time to really do the work necessary to show that commitment, people aren't really showing up for that. And this isn't just for you, this is just for the community at large. Can you kind of speak to some of that? I said a whole lot, so I'm gonna zip it up and let you talk now.
No, well, Dr. Walker, see, you're right on target. The question is, why would anybody who's got an ounce of brain, who was able to successfully graduate from at least the 3rd grade, why would they in a race-based society be trying to socially integrate? That's your real issue right there. Why social integration is a detrimental impact on a specific group. You're being to dilute and water yourself down, weaken yourself in a society where the majority will win and rule and the minority will lose and suffer. Why would you disintegrate yourself down even further? Why would anybody in their right mind try to socially integrate in a race-based society? If somebody has subjected you to 360 years of slavery and another 100 years of Jim Crow semi-slavery and another 50 years of benign neglect, but they ignored you and continued to suffer and to use a doctrine of unequal exchange against you, why in the world would you try to socially integrate? Why would you want to be trying to get accepted? Why would you want to move into their community? And why would you dissipate your own community? Why would you destroy your own businesses? Why would you destroy your own school system? Why would you open yourself up to your culture? See, for instance, in music, Black folk, long as we were segregated, whites could not get into the Black community to steal your culture. They were scared to come in. They couldn't do it successfully. Only when you socially integrated in the 50s, and all of a sudden, Black folk have been a generator. Blacks have a genius, a talent for generating music and dance and culture and slang. That's their talent. And see, it was protected during segregation. White folk did Black folk a big favor by doing segregation. Whites could not come in. So whites could sit outside your community and listen to your music. But when you integrate it, all of a sudden, here comes Carl Perkins. Here comes Elvis Presley. They ran into your neighborhood. Here come the Beatles. They take your music and stuff away from you because they say, if you're that damn dumb to open yourself up through social integration and let us come in and use what we call urban renewal and destroy everything you got in here and take it away on the process of doctrine of unequal exchange, you got to be stupid. And why are you trying to do it? No out-group, any place on this earth, no out-group, any place on this earth would try to socially integrate. Would try to socially integrate in a race-based society except Black folk. They want to be accepted that badly. That's why we don't have anything. That's why in terms of businesses, that per 100,000 Black folk, we had 20 times more businesses in 1920 than we got now 100 years later. Dr. Anderson, let me hear that again. We had 20 times more businesses per 100,000 Blacks in 1920 than we got in 2020. Yes, because when you open yourself up, whites came in and stripped you of everything you had. They took your culture away. They took your businesses. They took your neighborhoods. They're gonna gentrify them. They took all your buses, airline, everything you had. You had cab companies, bus companies, the best music, the best entertainment in the Black neighborhoods. You ain't got a damn thing now talking about social integration. And I haven't heard one Black person stand up and say, we didn't need no damn social integration. What you needed was economic integration. Racism is economic. It has nothing in the world to do with social. Nobody cares about your social. And you don't have a code of conduct. And you don't even have territory. And this is why I say this is a year of reckoning for Black folk. If Black folk don't get their act together, they are through in this country and on the earth. You're through, it's coming. It's coming. There are groups right now all around the world gonna say, we're gonna eliminate the consumers, the eaters, and the only people gonna survive are gonna be the producers. That's why everything that's bad gonna come to the Black community. Right now, we're the leading carriers of everything that's negative in the society. We're carrying 6 to 8 times our fair share of everything that's bad. We are the people that's overloaded overloaded with incarceration, where 51% of all the people, of all the prisoners are blacks. How in the hell can you have a 13% black population and a 51% incarceration? And nobody does anything about it. Well, that's the way it is. That ain't the way it is. That's because your stupidity. You keep doing dumb stuff against yourself. Everybody else, we use the word community. We don't have any damn communities. You don't have a community, anybody can come in and rape you anytime they want to. All you got are neighborhoods. That's how they got your culture. That's how they got your music. That's how they took away your businesses. That's why they gentrifying your cities, because you're out there trying to socially integrate. You haven't got one black community in the entire United States. That is an absolute disgrace. And I'm embarrassed and humiliated to even tell you that. Not one. Because you need to have 3 qualifiers to be called a community. And I wish black folk would stop, cease and desist and use the damn word community. Keep that out of black folks' mouths. Come on, we got a community. You ain't got no damn community. All you got are neighborhoods. A neighborhood is where you eat and sleep. That's all black folk have, are neighborhoods. Those people you're talking about that grab your culture and run to the suburbs, they're leaving their neighborhood trying to get to white folks' communities. When they get into those white communities, nobody gives a damn about them out there. They're nothing but a head out there, no body. The body's still back in the damn neighborhood. And no white folk gonna respect anybody living in an integrated neighborhood. White folk got a quota system saying anytime even blacks leave those neighborhoods and come to our communities, we will only accept somewhere between 5 and 6% to make sure they stay a permanent minority. They were the original minority in this country. They're gonna stay a minority in this country. We're scared of them. When we shoot one down, we're shooting them down because we don't have any respect for them, no appreciation for them, and we're gonna do anything we can to humiliate them. That's why there's a whole big gay movement in the country right now to further diminish black people, especially black men in the country, by imposing gayness on them. Because again, that's a humiliation of the black man, because he's an endangered species. Going to go after gayness, go to the Middle East. They say they were the first people started neutering black folk, black men, making them into watchmen and bodyguards in the Arab nations. They could neuter them and castrate them so they could not have indulged sex with Arab women. And that's where the whole gayness started in the Middle East. Then the Catholics picked it up. That's why Catholics right now are still trying to castrate young boys and committing homosexual acts. They're gonna induce all this stuff to humiliate the black man, to diminish the black man. They're gonna, in the people you get shot down, in most cases, gonna be a damn black man. To weaken him, there's no code of conduct for black folk. You can't have a code of conduct if you haven't got a community. To have a community, you must have 3 things, to Watkins. You must first have a wholly independent economy that would provide jobs, businesses, products, services, goods, and a tax base for your own people on your own land, your own property. Where is that in the United States? You tell me, is that in California, or is it in Florida, or is it in New York? Where have you got it? Where's that black economy? You haven't got it. How in the hell are you going to participate in a competitive society? You don't even have an economy. That first thing, you must have a wholly independent economy. And secondly, on top of that, you must have a code of conduct on that same land, on that land that you said, this my property. Just like Frenchtown, Germantown, Frenchtown, Poletown, Hockeytown, Little Mexico, Greek towns, and Arab town, Asian town, Polish towns, you must have land. You must have a code of conduct that says this is what we're gonna do on this land. We're gonna look out for each other. We're gonna protect each other. We're gonna buy from each other. And nobody gonna come in here with 2 in a pickup truck and chase a black man down the street and shoot him down in the street and get away with it. You have no code of conduct. You don't have a damn community. Then the last thing third thing you must have elected officials that will represent and speak for you first and foremostly. Show me where you got some black politicians. The first thing they speak for is for black folk and protect black folk. As soon as any black person runs for office, first thing they're gonna do is tell me, I'm gonna run for office so I can represent everybody and take care of everybody. Then you keep your ass at home. Don't run for an office. Stay home. We don't need any more blacks in politics. They ain't gonna represent nobody. They're not gonna represent anybody. Represent the black people. Don't waste your. Well, we got Biden. He's going to pick a black woman. We don't need a black woman. We need a black man that's strong enough to look out first and foremost for black people and the black communities. Where show me the record before you vote for somebody. Show me their accomplishment on paper, what they've done specifically and tangibly for black folk that can be measured and taken to a bank. So I'm sick and tired of black folk misusing the words. Talk about we got a community. You don't have no damn community. All you got are neighborhoods. And neighborhoods where you can go in and dump trash, you can dump drugs, you can dump anything you want, dump prostitution into it. People can come and go. You haven't got a Chinatown, you haven't got a Mexican town, a little Hialeah, a Koreatown. You don't have anything but a wide open piece of land run over by rundown buildings, no businesses, no hospitals, no clinics, no grocery stores, no supermarkets, no professional climate, nothing. Now, what we should be doing, this is a year of reckoning. Either black come out and say, we must hold the entire society accountable for this year in voting. Don't tell me voting for Biden or Trump. Right now, neither one ain't worth a damn for black folk. Neither one gonna stand up for black folk and say, here's what we're gonna do specifically and solely for black folk. Don't waste your time voting. People say, Dr. Anderson, then you're suppressing the black vote. Hell no, I can't suppress the black vote. I wanna express the black vote. Make it strictly solely for black folk to get benefits. That is the nature of politics. It started in the 1500s. Politics came out of the word political, or it was a French word saying based on quid pro quo, something for something. One hand washes the other. You take care of me, I take care of you. You vote for me and put me in office, I will vote for you and take care of you. And so nobody practices quid pro quo for black folk. And so right now, Trump, I'm not gonna vote for any candidate in the future unless he shows me in very specific contractual terms, here's what you're gonna do specifically so for black folk. I don't give a damn what you're gonna do for minorities or poor folk or people of color, short leg, one leg, no head, bald headed, one eyed, crippled, dumb, humpbacks and midgets. I don't give a damn about that. What are you gonna do for black folk for my vote? You ain't gonna do a damn thing. You keep right on going. You all need to call every one of them to your neighborhood. Biden said, tell Biden you're gonna vote for him. So Biden said, vote. If you're gonna vote for Biden, I'll vote for you, Biden. We'll vote as a block. But here's what you better do for some black folk. You better go back and correct all those things they should have corrected during the civil rights movement. You should have corrected the legacies of slavery that were imposed on black folk. We were stripped of everything. Couldn't even get 40 acres of a mule. Couldn't get haven't got a pot to urinate in or when to throw it out of. You're still carrying 6 to 18 times out. Everything is bad. That's why this virus right now is gonna kill off black folk. We're gonna kill off 6 blacks. One white person dies from the virus, somewhere around 6 to 8 blacks gonna die. You start talking about homicides, 67% of all the homicides committed against black people. I'm sick and tired personally of the giant leg, water leg, weak leg, black people talking about their politicians, getting on TV, trying to represent everybody except their own people. I quit there because you got me preaching now.
Well, that's all right. Everybody's listening. I hope you all are enjoying what you're hearing from Dr. Anderson. Say something in the chat. Let him know how much you appreciate what he's saying, what he's bringing to us, because he doesn't have to do this. And also, you're listening to Dr. Claud Anderson. In case you're new here, his book is Power. His most famous book is Powernomics. He's written some other books: Black Labor, White Wealth, The Dirty Little Secrets 1 and 2, and The Black History Reader. His website, where all his books are located, is powernomics.com. That's powernomics.com. So go there and check it out. He has a whole library pack you can get for your kids. It's a great gift for your family. I highly suggest it. And I really suggest buying a lot. If you're really into it, like you're really bad about it, what you might want to do is just buy that's right, Black History Reader. That's one of them. I got that one right there. Buy a stack of them and just give them away to stupid people in your family. Give them away as Christmas gifts. Seriously, a lot of y'all, I don't know how many of y'all got ignorant relatives. I got my share. I got a few. And I think it would actually be real cool for those of y'all in there. They got a little extra, money sitting around that you might want to invest in something, that you want to do for yourself or for your family. Well, give the gift of knowledge. Go buy a bunch of copies of Powernomics, stack them in your house. When people come through, say, here, check this out. Because I really think that we have to be very deliberate, and I think as a community, very intentional about, about really making sure that we are pushing our gospel of empowerment, that we really are deliberate, you know, in all of this. You know, that means everybody in here that's watching, I'm really personally asking you directly to at least take this link of this video and put it on your social media. Let people know what you're talking about. Wear your blackness on your shirt. Seriously, that's what I do. And I'm not just talking. I walk it as I talk it. I carry this with me. You can't know me and not know that I'm black. You know, I scare half the white people in my neighborhood, but they understand that if they want to be my friend, they're gonna have to adjust to me. I'm not adjusting to them. So make the world adjust to you. Don't adjust to them. Don't bend to them. And you got to be extra strong because you're the talented 10th. You are the talented 10th. You're the few that are going to lead the many. Your children are going to be the CEOs of the next generation, the millionaires that are going to create jobs, the leaders of the community. So you're going to have to be twice as strong, which means that there has to be, for every one of you, you're going to be stronger than 20 of them. You know, for every one of you, there's 20 of them. For every one intelligent, conscientious, forward-thinking black person that understands their power, that is committed to blackness, there's going to be 20 Negroes who don't know who the hell they are. And I'm going to tell you, if you are clear about who you are and what you believe in, those weak-minded, flimsy, flip-flop, jello-brain Negroes will all start lining up and following you. Why? Well, because they don't know which way is up. They just tend to follow anything that looks like it's powerful, anything that looks like it's clear. So be powerful, be clear, be intentional about who you are. Watch the words that are coming out of my mouth. Watch the actions of my body language as I tell you this, because I'm one of those people. If you're not sure what to do, just do what I'm doing right now with you and be clear about who the hell you are and don't be ashamed of it and don't apologize for it. And if you carry yourself like that through life, I promise you, people are going to get in line behind that. People are going to either they're going to get in line or they're going to get the hell, they're going to get the hell out the way. I was about to say get the fuck out the way, but I'm not going to cuss because Dr. Anderson's here. But y'all get the point. There you go. All right, Doctor, you know what? I want to ask you about this. Could you
before you leave,
go ahead.
See, in this book, The Black History Reader, 101 questions that you never thought to ask. On page 150, the question you asked me initially, question 49, you know what it's about? It says, why is it that the pattern of black men killed by white men or white law enforcement personnel so acceptable and extensive in our society? That's number 49 to answer your question right there. Right there. This book right now answers most of the questions that black folk are asking every day. Their friends are walking around in the blind, not understanding. And that's why I say this is the year of reckoning. The black folk had that book, just reading that book alone, walking to and confronting every so-called visible black in the country. All these blacks running around playing with balls, dancing and singing. That they would ask them that this what they should be reading this book and chastise and saying this is the year for black folk. We must solve these racial issues this year or forever hold our peace because we are through in the country. A year of reckoning. Reckoning means an accounting for black folk. Black folk were the major producers in this country. They were the engines that drove the economic development of this country. Black folk are the ones who cleared the land. Black folk are the most patriotic people. Black folk are the basis of most of the culture in this country. Black folk are the only people that's been excluded and constitutionally have been overrun by immigrants coming into the country, starting with the 1790 immigration law. Black folk have been buried beneath this country now for almost 400 years. Everybody's gotten something out of this country and benefits except black folk. And those people are doing all the shooting, these redneck conservatives. They do that because they have no respect for you, no appreciation for you, because none of my books are not in there saying these are the things that black folk have done. My dirty little secrets books are not in the white schools, not even in the black schools, because black folk don't demand a damn thing. All they do is march and beg. That's why white folks says, your people, Dr. Anderson, are weak people. We don't respect them because they're weak. All they do is walk and march and beg. They never demand a damn thing. When a person gonna run for an office, they should be demanding right now. If I'm gonna vote for Trump, you should be demanding Trump do these kind of things right now in preparation for re-election. If you're gonna vote for Biden, you should be demanding that these are things that Biden commit himself to right now. And that is regenerating some wealth and resources into the black community, point one. Point two, having black folk proclaimed to be a protected people. And yet now over in Virginia, the next state over, guess what they're over there doing now? Trying to put gays into a protected class. There's no constitutional ground for having gays put into a protected class. You should be putting these descendants of slaves into a protected class. So I get irritated by our people ignorance of not standing up for themselves and demanding and protecting themselves and saying this is our community and rebuilding these communities. And once you rebuild, once you get that turf saying these are our grounds, then you build your own economy, build your own industries and your own businesses, and start providing goods and service for your own people. Then over that, you put a sense of community that would protect all your institutions and your culture and your history, so that Elvis Presley's and the rest of them can't walk in there and take things away from you, take your music away. That's why every damn band now got a black person in the background, or got black women back there singing harmony in the back. That's called a doctrine of unequal exchange. We take from black folk and give them nothing. That's what you get, nothing. Nobody gives you anything. People say, well, we don't want a handout. Yes, you do need handouts. You need everything. And every white person in the United States came here as a freeloader. Every white person came from Europe, came to America. He didn't come here looking for no damn religious freedom. He didn't look for no rights and opportunity. He came here to get free, get something free. What? Free land and free black labor. Every white, everyone knows in these southern states right now, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, that's looking down and urinating on black folk. They came here to freeload, to get free resources, then turn around saying, well, we're better than you black folk because y'all don't have anything. No, we don't, because you stole everything, took it from them. You came here as Europeans. Now the Asians are coming in to freeload. They're coming to this country now to get everything they can get and profiteer off what black folk have been denied. Hispanics are coming here by the millions to freeload to get what black folk have been denied. But yet Hispanics were the second or third slaveholders in the world on black folk. Asians enslaved black folk. American Indians enslaved black folk. Every group of human beings on earth have enslaved and profiteered off of black folk. Stand up and say, this is your reckoning. You're going to come up with something. We ain't participating in this game of voting just to vote. We're not voting for no damn rights, damn civil rights. We're voting for resources. That's what I'm telling you in conclusion, Dr. Watkins. Tell these black folk that I know, get up off your humps and stand up like be man and women and say, no, we're not gay, we're not poor. Poor whites right now got 10 times more wealth than a poor black person. Quit getting by in this game about these broad groups. Don't let anybody use any broad, ambiguous names against you. They use the word minority, you get up and walk out of the room. They start talking about poor people, get up and leave. They start talking about gender issues, get up and leave. White women get every benefit that the white man has. She profiteered just like the white man did. Stand up for yourself and say, we are special people. We demand to be recognized, appreciated, and reparated for what we built in this country. And that we don't give a damn about living in your community. I don't need no social integration. We'll build our not black neighborhoods, we'll build black communities. We reside there and take care of each other, support each other, buy from each other, share with each other. And if we have to suffer, we suffer together. If we have to prosper, we prosper together. That's what I want black folk to do. Stand up and say, we are special people. We're not here as guests. Every white person, every Asian, every Hispanic in this country, they are guests. Black folk are here based on the blood, sweat, and tears of millions of black folk who labored as cotton pickers, waiters, cooks, and butlers, and waiters. They are special people. Black folk are exceptional people. And I'm not gonna let anybody get ahead of them if I can help it. Thank you very much.
All right, well, thank you, Dr. Anderson. And by the way, Madden family, I see you. First of all, thank you for your donation, and I see your questions up there for a while. Since you made a bigger donation and left it up there a long time, just so you guys know, when Dr. Anderson's here, I don't answer a lot of questions in the chat just because I want him to talk. We need to listen. That's the most important thing for any of us to do. Any young person in here, take this advice. Take time to listen to people who know more than you do, who came here before you did, who can tell you stories that you don't know, because a lot of the things you're going through, they've already gone through it. They have a perspective that can benefit you. So when Dr. Anderson's here, I just listen. I don't do a whole lot of talking. But Madden family's asking, docs, how do I keep my sanity and focus and patience with my people? How do you do it without giving up on us? I'll answer real quick first and just say that I can't give up on black people because that's what I am. I can't, because that's giving up on myself. So that this is the boat I'm in, the team I'm on, and that's just where I'm going to be. But make no mistake about it, I don't have patience for everybody. I'm not trying to teach everybody. I'm not trying to talk to everybody. I'm here to talk to the people that will listen, and the people who don't listen will be knocked out of the way. and and then eventually maybe they'll come back around, and maybe their children will come back around. What I want to do is collect Black folks that get it, intelligent Black people that either are intelligent or want to be intelligent, and say, okay, how do we build the codes of conduct like Dr. Anderson says? How do we build economies like Dr. Anderson talks about? How do we build communities, digital or physical and otherwise, that will allow us to achieve our goal? Because here's what happens. Once we come together, we put together our game plan and we're implementing those plans, then we obtain power. And as we obtain power, a lot of those, flimsy jello-minded Negroes who sat on the sidelines and had something negative to say, most of those people actually fall in line. Because at the end of the day, nobody wants to play for the losing team. Nobody wants to sit and cheer for somebody who can't get nothing done. So my belief is, let's just be successful. And when we're successful, believe me, the Negroes will fall in line, because the weak Negroes don't know, they just don't know up from down. They don't know which direction they're going. So they're going to follow along anything that looks powerful and strong. And that's what my goal is. My goal is to accumulate power. Dr. Anderson, would you like to address that real quick?
Yeah, and that, as a matter of fact, the best way, can you put up a little thing I sent you about my 5-story building?
Yeah, I'll put it up here. Sure. It's a little bit of a blurry image, but I can read it off to you guys, so Dr. Anderson can break it down for you. So here we go. So Dr. Anderson, you don't mind if I read the 5 stories out loud? That way everybody on the Instagram can.
Right. Please.
In the building, it looks like you've got 5 floors here. You've got the first floor, which is community economics. Second floor is politics and voting. Third floor is courts and police. Fifth floor is fourth floor is print and digital media. And fifth floor is schools and skills. Would you like to explain that?
Yes, sir. What I'm saying there is we need to go back and rebuild our Black communities. This is the year to start it. Start building Black communities, the one that we gave up in during the civil rights movement, and build our own communities and come up with a code of conduct and start building the first floor once we get that land identified. And right now, there's a major movement in this country to gentrify every major city in the United States where Black folk reside, to convert Black folk from being a majority population to being a minority population, and bring in immigrants and whites over them. But once we take our communities, the first floor will be build an economy. Once you build that economy on the first floor, set up businesses and industries and start practicing group economics, and so that we bounce our money around on that first floor 8 to 12 times before it leaves Black hands. Take that money and build our own products, services, and goods. And once we begin to build an economy where we now can hire our own people and give jobs to our own people, and as well as services and goods, then we take that money, we go to the second floor. Contrary to what these politicians are going to tell you in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party about you need to get engaged in politics. Never, never, never engage in politics until you got your economy straight. Because if you're without an economy, you cannot hold people accountable. You can't reward, you can't punish. I'm one of the few blessed people in the country as a Black man who had the opportunity to run political campaigns, national political campaigns, for presidents, for governors, for attorney generals, for state legislators and mayors. No other Black person I know of has been able to do that. I've done that. So you go to the second floor and you take and use your money off the first floor to control the politics and the voting, so that you can control people like Biden, that you can control people like Donald Trump. The reason Donald Trump right now has been so successful, he calls himself a billionaire. We got over 600 white billionaires in America. That's who's running the country. Not poor people, not your vote. Poor, wealthy people don't have to worry about voting. They buy every damn politician. I want Black people to get in a position to be able to buy and sell every politician they want. Buy and sell their vote if necessary. And then once you buy and sell the votes, then you go to the third floor. The third floor is then you use that power you got in the politics and start controlling the court system and the police departments. Like that's why you got the problem down in Georgia with them shooting Black folk. And every time they shoot some Black folk, they never found guilty in the court system or in the police system. That's why right now they're shooting down in Georgia. That man was shot back in January. They didn't even arrest the people until this week, until last of May. You know why? Because the prosecutors would not arrest him. Now, what I want Black folk to understand that in this country, that 95% of all the prosecutors, just like down in Georgia, where they would not even arrest the two white people that did the shooting, that 95% of all the prosecutors are whites. 95% are whites. and they decide who's going to be prosecuted and not anything. Then when you get into the court system on that third floor, that out of 14, almost 1,500 now of judges, over 1,500 were whites, not black folk. They didn't appoint a black person to a federal judgeship until 1947. And when I was with the President Carter in the White House, I personally got 3 appointed by myself by cutting a deal with Strom Thurmond to get 3 black judges, federal judges. That means that was 3 times more federal judges than ever had existed in the United States. I got that done in the 1970s by my damn self, not with the help of the NAACP and Urban League. They didn't do a damn thing. And once you learn how to control the court system and the police department, using the resources off the first floor, then you go to the 4th floor. You start getting some print media and some digital media so you can socialize, communicate, and mobilize your people on the 4th floor. And lastly is the schools at the top. Quit talking about an education as a great equalizer. We need educate more black kids to do this and that. What black folks need right now is money and resources, and see that use it. Schools cannot do anything more than what the dominant white society wants to do on the 1st floor and the 2nd floor. So the schools will do whatever you want them to do if you got the power, the wealth, and the resources. And so I'm saying that's a 5-story building. That's called the Powernomics Empowerment Floors. I'll be talking to you later on about that as we move throughout this year. But this is a year of reckoning, and that's what we're going to be trying to follow. Go back and rebuild these communities. I need your help. Thank you very much, and I love all of you.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Anderson. And Dr. Anderson's website is powernomics.com. That's powernomics.com. That's where all his books are. I encourage you to go take a look at his books. And if you're overzealous, like I am, and I'm actually going to do this, I've actually ordered hundreds of copies of Powernomics. And, we have some in the book in our bookstore, but I don't want you to buy them from me. I want you to buy them from Dr. Anderson. But if you are into it and you're overzealous about it, like I said, carry your blackness on your sleeve. You may want to buy a stack of them and just give them away as gifts at birthdays and Christmases and things like that. And that way, at least people will know what you represent. We have to push our agenda like everybody else. And what Dr. Anderson hit, let's do a quick recap, is he hit basically 5 major systems that black people must control, 5 major systems that you must control. And he mentioned the economic system, which we talk about on a regular basis. You can't have power if you don't have money. If you don't have your own money, you can't have your own power. So stop letting them get you on this socialist, powerless conversation, because that's a conversation that white privilege allows them to have. A white feminist or LGBT can talk about these horizontal issues because they've got powerful economic institutions backing their agenda. For example, white liberals, they own multi-billion-dollar universities. They own multi-billion-dollar media outlets. They have, communities, they own banks and all these other institutions that allow them to do these things. You don't have all of that. You need your millionaires, your billionaires, and your economic powerhouses to allow you to do that. So first is the economic system. You must have your own economic system. We'll talk about how to build an economy in future conversations. 2, politics. You must own and control your politicians through your economics. Very important. 3, the courts and the police, or the criminal justice system. That is an outflow from the politicians. Your politicians should be the ones that are making modifications in the criminal justice system on your behalf. 4th is media. We talk about black-owned media all the time. That's why we do Black movie nights. That's what we're doing right now. Participate, be a part of these things. Black movie night is us building a Black Hollywood. We're building our own movie stars. We're making our own blockbuster films. We're pushing out all kinds of things that the community can support. And then 5th, last but not least, is you must educate your own children. If you're not educating your own children, then your children are going to be raised to be little white supremacists. They're going to be raised in a white man's school, and all the white man's school can do is teach them how to be a Black man. So a couple initiatives we have going on. Number 1, you guys know about the Black Business School. We have almost 100,000 students now. You are welcome to join. Feel free to participate. You can actually get started for free. Number 2 is we created a foundation. Alicia and I did the Boyce and Alicia Watkins Foundation, where our number 1 objective, our only objective, we have no other objective other than to raise money for independent Black-owned schools being run by Black people that are designed to educate Black children. No, we're not putting money into the public school system. We don't care about that. No, we're not going to pay a bunch of money to send Black kids to to go to expensive, overpriced white universities. We're not interested in that. We are interested in supporting schools like Freedom Home Academy International in Chicago, which is one of the best schools in the entire country, but it's severely underfunded, and we want to fix that in this generation. So are we clear? Do you get what we're saying? Give me a yes or no in the chat. Type a hashtag B1. Let us know that you're on board, that you understand what we're trying to accomplish here. And we would love any participation you want to add, offer at all. Start by at least sharing this video. All right. So powernomics.com is Dr. Anderson's website. Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Is that anything else you wanted to add, or are you all good?
Tell them that in a few weeks, by the 1st of June, we're going to be initiating this year of reckoning on behalf of Black folk, which means holding the white society accountable for all the things they didn't do for Black folk that must be done if we're going to resolve racism in America. And I'm not against anybody. I don't want Black folk to be against anybody else. I just want them to be for their own people, period. And so, but for to be prepared for this reckoning, year of reckoning, tell them to get to that powernomics.com website and get that library pack and get those 5 books and start reading them and dealing with your business school. And it explains all the stuff they need to know for us to get some satisfaction for the elections coming up in November. Just sitting there and listen to some talking head Black person who's getting paid by a white corporation to be on the media to advocate being a Democrat or Republican is a waste of time. It's an insult. Tell them to understand these issues and say, if necessary, we won't vote for either one. We'll withdraw from the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, start us a national Black party, and we'll vote as a block for whoever promises the most and delivers the most strictly and solely to Black folk. They ain't gonna deliver a thing to us, and then don't waste your time looking for our vote, because we ain't got a damn thing to lose. And so go to the powernomics.com and get that power pack, the library pack, and also stay in contact with Boyce's school, the business school. He's on the right track trying to help you. I thank you, and I'll see you next week then, good buddy.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Have a wonderful day, my friend. Everybody, you guys have a good day. And hit the thumbs up button on your way out of here, and we'll see you next week. Or I'll probably see you even sooner than that. But Dr. Anderson will be back in the next few days. So take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.